Welcome back to PipeCast on another Burley Boy Summer pillar. This is Peterson Irish Flake. Let's take a look at it.
Here we have Peterson Irish Flake. Now it is comprised of Burley, Dark Fire Kentucky, and Virginias. Now here's some Bright Virginia and Red Virginia. I'm not sure what the proportions are, if it's bright or red. There's really not a lot of detailed information there. All we know is that there are Virginias there, and specifically, it mentions that it is air cured, flue cured, and then of course dark fired. Virginia and Burley's is what is kind of how it's listed out here. So here is the flake that comes with it. It's a perfect flake. If you're familiar with the Scandinavian tobacco group, the way they do their flakes, it's nice and symmetrical there. You can see it's predominantly dark fired and Burley, probably. Again, this is an older recipe. I believe they've actually brought some more dark fired to the front. So, but you can see the little light specks here and there poking through. Those are the Virginias, kind of poking through. But there's a little bit of a lighter brown here and there, which is more or less the Burley. But it's a very dark blend, heavy on that dark fired Kentucky, just from the looks of it. So let's go over there and see how it smokes.
So, as you guys know, because Patrick and I have old humidors and stuff that we visit and frequent, it does seem like maybe Scandinavian Tobacco Group has changed this formula a little bit. So this is an older formula. Supposedly, the new formula has a more Kentucky dark fired forward component element to it. From what I understand, the last couple of years, maybe they pushed the dark fire a little bit forward. This is I think as straight of a tobacco as you can get one way or another. I don't think there's any casing on it. I think it's just basically Virginia Burley and dark fired. And I think even it's described as for the experienced pipe smoker. I've been smoking on this for years. Patrick's been smoking on this. So this is sort of for now. Oh, you haven't smoked it before?
This is my first light. I cracked this open just before the video.
So
January of 21. So yeah, it's the old recipe. Now I would say, yeah, so this is a first impression because I hadn't smoked it yet. So this is my second Kentucky, like dark fire Kentucky, based blend. And the way you're describing what the new formula is, I think that might actually be a good thing because it might be getting it closer into getting it up to, the level of dark strong flake. Because I'm already noticing. So immediately when I lit the pipe for dark strong, like it hits you right in the face. Like it's there. You're feeling it. The nerves in your gut. It's like a spicy warhead. Like you're just feeling everything fire off. You feel it here, but it's a lot more subtle. It's not immediate. You got to kind of get in there. You got to coax it out of it. So what you're saying, it seems like the new formula might get it closer to dark strong, which might be a good thing. Now that dark strong has changed, it might be a good thing. But this blend so far seems to be really good. I mean, it's probably one that I would smoke more often than dark strong. Let's go into fantasy world where the tobacco, the Irish Flake that you can buy today is this one from 2021, and the dark strong flake that you can buy today is from 2021. I would probably reach for Irish Flake more because dark strong is just a little bit more of a beast. This is a little bit more palatable, a little bit more approachable. And I think if you're like me, you're going to want to cut your teeth on Irish Flake before you really try to dig deep and piece out dark strong. That's just my kind of take, because I think if you don't take your time and kind of deal with something that's a little bit more subtle, some of the harshness and the rough around the edges of dark strong are going to give you a bad experience, and you're not going to want to continue to go back to it. So that's just a quick kind of like that's my thinking. Now, as I get deeper into the bowl, maybe things change. I don't know, but based on the first few puffs, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Is this is a more subdued dark strong. Um, it's not a one for one. Like, there are some differences here, but you know when you're trying dark fired Kentucky for the first time, like a real true component, like where it's the main player, um, it's really hard to get past anything other than the dark fired Kentucky. You're getting a lot of that earthiness, that smokiness. It's it's kind of like, and it's weird because it's like dark fired Kentucky is everything that people say Latakia is. Like, it's because people talk about Latakia, if you're new to pipe smoking, sorry if I'm going on a tangent, but
No, you're.
if you're new to the game and you hear people talk about nightcap, or you hear people talk about quiet nights, or maybe even artisan's blend, gaslight, pirate cake, commonwealth, star of the east, it's like they almost scare you off because they're like, that stuff is powerful, man. And I'm like, it's not that. I mean, it's got a strong flavor, but it's not. It doesn't have. It's all bark and no bite. Where Dark
Mhm.
Fire Kentucky feels like it's both. It gives you the same characteristics, the smokiness, the earthiness, the all that. But behind it, it's bringing some heat too, because it's gonna hit you with a little bit more nicotine. It's gonna spice up your mouth a little bit. You're gonna have a little bit more mouthfeel than you do with Latakia. So I feel like dark fired is what everybody talks about when like what most people say about Latakia. Just take that and apply it to dark fired, and you'd be all right. So
Mhm.
that's how I feel about it. Is like, I I'm never gonna shy away from a heavy Latakia blend because it's not gonna do anything. Like, it's not gonna knock you on your butt. None of them will ever do that. Now, I haven't had pirate cake, but I've had Commonwealth, which is 50%, and I mean, it doesn't do anything. It's just a blend. Like, it's whatever. But dark strong, really, whatever, what I've heard about, 1972 flake, or 1792 flake, I've heard it'll put you on your butt too. So, and it's dark fire too, right?
Yes, it's a dark Kindle. I got a 10 right here. Yeah, dark Kindle flake. It's
He keeps a 10 on him everywhere he goes.
everywhere I go. There's a 10 of guy with dadgummit. It doesn't wait. It doesn't say, but I know there's dark fired in it.
But I think Irish flake is one that I would reach to more, just because it's a little bit more approachable, and you can kind of get the feeling of what dark fire Kentucky is, and the characteristics of it. And then, because
Sorry. You, I just can imagine me going everywhere with 1792 flake in my back pocket.
that's what it feels like, dude. Like, you've been
Well,
pulling out
I
of
love
nowhere.
1792. I mean, I love it. It's a
It's
good
fun.
one, man.
It's funny. He sent me what did you sent me, like your whole stack that you just ordered, right?
Mm.
And I go, have you checked if they changed it yet? You were like, no, they haven't. I just smoked it. And then he was like, wait, no, oh, that's from an old 10. I just smoked from an old 10, not a new 10. I don't know.
This guy's trying to throw like some scariness at me. Like, I hope they can't. Changing stuff up is not great. Like, luckily, none of my favorite blends have been changed. Well, that's not true. But like, because Dark Strong's gone, or
So Lonnie
Heinrich's
changed.
Lonnie changed. So I'm not doing hot right now. Like the
Irish
change,
Flakes changed.
Irish Flake's changed. Irish Flake's not one of my favorites though, but it's
You
good.
like University Flake more than Irish Flake.
In terms of Peterson, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's hilarious that because you have it. you haven't discussed it, so I'm just going to burn your forest down and take the fire from you. But it's just like uh, an Irishman smoking Irish Flake in the Dublin Irish pipe. Yeah, I mean, like, you're a little animated tonight, son.
Yeah, I'm in my Peterson Dairy Rustic B10 over here. I call it my Sherlock Holmes pipe. It's
And then you got the Irish Flake in it. I mean, you're all Irished out, you know?
I'm living life, dude.
Yeah, man. What's in your pocket? A potato?
A potato and a 4-leaf clover. Yeah. No, but yeah. So far, first impressions, Irish Flake is good. I'm kind of mad that I haven't had it more. So I can actually, I don't know. I'm about to go on a trip, so I wasn't planning on bringing a pipe, but I might bring a little pack of this and a pipe and smoke a little bit of it, and then come back and smoke some dark strong to kind of see how I feel about
I like
how I
about
feel
the
about it.
you. This guy's going on a parks tour, a national parks tour, a little bit, right? And he's
Mhm.
not bringing. He's going on a camping trip. He's not bringing a pipe.
Well,
Dude,
man, I mean, I don't want to cause
four.
a forest fire.
All right, that's actually a pretty good. You know what? I'll give you that.
Well,
Going out.
I mean, there's a lot of chance here lately. There's a possibility of it may have already been happening of like dry thunderstorms happening out west, and with all the snow that's melted from I mean, everything's gone now. So if there's like just fresh vegetation everywhere. If they have some dry thunderstorms and some lightning, stuff's gonna get wild. It probably
Wildfire.
do what?
You
What?
said something wild, and I said wildfire.
She said,
That's
I don't
dumb.
know if it'll reach Wyoming, but there's possibilities that if that happens, I mean, it could get as far over as Utah. So,
Hmm.
see.
Well, I mean, still be fun. I
what
mean,
if what if I'm gone and all of a sudden, like, breaking news, Grand Teton burns down. Every bit of Grand Teton's just burnt to it, and you're like, Patrick.
Patrick, I, like, you know, it's gonna suck because you'll have posted this video and they'll be like, "Didn't you suggest, sir, like the FBI? FBI, open up!" I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Did you suggest a man smoke a pipe in a national park?" I'm like, "Probably." It sounds like something I would say. And they're like, "You're under arrest forever."
Yeah, so this is being recorded 1 week before I leave, but it will drop the day I come back. So I'll already be back when this
Well,
drops.
guess what, guys? If the national parks burn down, you have your culprit.
I was I was about to be like, hey, so if y'all are going to be at Grand Teton or Yellowstone, uh, these dates, just come see me. Then I'm like, oh wait, they're not going to watch it until after.
Yeah,
Should
come
have
see me. You should have seen me in the past.
should have said it in the last video. Um, but yeah, so that yeah, I like it. I'm passing the conversation over to you for Irish Flake.
Um, yeah, man, it's a good natural tobacco from the old blend. You know, you have all the earthy, kind of nutty, woodsy notes there, a little bit of spice kick, and a subtle sweetness that is, I mean, it's as unrivaled a tobacco as you can get to be as natural a tobacco as you can get. If you're really looking for um, an untouched blend, and untouched in terms of like casing topping, where there might be some sugar water or something added to it to kind of even out all the flavors. I think for the most part there is no such thing as a tobacco for the most part that hasn't encased or touched a little bit. For consistent, that's a manufacturing consistency. This
Yeah,
is about as close as you're going to get. It's really good. Uh, I prefer more dark fired Kentucky, but like you said, and this is important, I do think that the Kentucky, it's kind of like what Patrick's doing right now. Like a sip of water is going to go a long way if you're not used to like a heavy nicotine Take any Bold Kentucky, 1792 flake, any dark Kindle flakes, anything with a dark fired has a wallop to it. And, and people are like, what about, Latakia? Well, Latakia first isn't a Burley. Okay. And it's just not. And Burley does have a high nicotine content. And second, like the flavoring, the smoky flavoring is more aromatic because it has more aromatic woods being burnt into it, as opposed to, I think the way it's more like a smoldering in the case of dark fired, I think, where it's actually sawdust that has been wet and then smolders, and then that's what darkens the burley leaf.
Yeah.
To get dark fired Kentucky. You can pick up some of those notes in Copenhagen long cut. So like that's what that's dark fired. It's that delicious carcinogen that you're getting a hold of there. But I do think, like I said, just be leery. I mean, everyone's a good pipe smoker on our channel that I found. It's just this does have a heavy vitamin N kind of kick to it. So you just need to be ready and prepared. Do I think Irish Flake has as much nicotine as, say, 1792 Flake? No. I think 1792 actually has a higher wallop than, most blends. Also, it depends on what you're smoking in. If you're smoking in some big, like I'm smoking a little pot pipe right now, this little Bones pipe that I've had for a while. And it's just a little, perfect pipe for this kind of a sit, and just puff for maybe 20 minutes. If you go for like an extended bowl, something a little bit longer, maybe a little bit like deeper well, and you sit for an hour and a half, you might find that your legs aren't exactly under you when you stand up,
Yeah.
and that's just depends on how much nicotine you take. It's rare for me now that I've smoked as long as I have to have that kind of happen, but it doesn't not happen all the time. So like every once in a while, it's like oof, you kind of get that kind of queasiness that happens with like a heavy dose of nicotine. But I mean, fire beer kind of thing, but it's still good, and I think the goodness of it makes it dangerous because you're going to want to continue to smoke it.
I was about to say, I may have to roll back what I just said because actually maybe smoking something like Dark Strong is better because this is a little dangerous because it is more subtle. I'm wanting to, chief it more than I did Dark Strong, and that can be a bad thing.
Yeah, chiefing these kind of things can be really, really, really bad for you
because it's real tasty. Like I really like the taste, because it's relatively new. I'm venturing into dark fired, really for the first time, two blends in, and I'm liking the taste, and I'm not so leery of it as I was Dark Strong, because Dark Strong kind of just jumped at it and just got you right on the first puff. This one took a little bit more time, but now it's kind of like I'm just going, and it's like, whew, I better calm down a little bit. But
same thing with for me and a Kindle Flake or like 1792. It's the flavor that gets me. I end up smoking, and then I'm upside down, because it's just like, oh, I like Tonquin, I like licorice, I like these kinds of flavors, and they're potent, they're lasting, and I end up just like, it's like me in a large milkshake, dude. It's,
it's gone in a minute.
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna be defeated. So
that's like me and like if I got a glass of water or a Coke or whatever it may be, like it's kind of just sitting there and I'm going at it here or there. But if it's like chocolate milk or a milkshake, you might as well just hook a straw and just have it constantly just sitting there. Like I'm sucking her down. There's no waiting. I'm waiting around about it.
But at least you enjoy it. It's not like Cheez-Its where you, like, I'm always like, who eats Cheez-Its? And then they sit them down in front of me and the bowl's gone. I'm like, who ate these Cheez-Its? I'm like, oh crap, maybe I did. Like, I don't really care for them, but for whatever reason, they all end up getting eaten under my watch. Like, I'm like, oh crap, like I ate them. It was me all along.
What's funny is, you're talking about Cheez-Its, but switching gears to Cheetos, what I find funny about Cheetos is, they're the one, I like them. Don't get me wrong, and I'm talking about regular cheese curls, not cheese puffs. Cheese puffs, I could just eat the whole bag. But cheese curls, there's a very distinct point where I'm like, okay, I don't want any more.
Basically, my boy was saying that he doesn't eat that many Cheetos. And I was saying that the only thing I like are those Takis, those rolled up Mexican chips. They're pretty good. And full ranch, but everything else is just, chips are chips, you know? Like, Pringles are tough to deny, though.
I grew up loving, like, the pizza flavored Pringles.
Yep.
Those are really. And I had something recently that reminded me of pizza Pringles. I'm trying to think what it was. Man, I ate it the other day and I was like, man, this takes me back to my childhood. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
See, my childhood, like the things that I think, like if I see this food in the grocery store, I immediately go back to like elementary school.
Yeah.
Pizza Pringles and Wild Berry Pop Tarts.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Berry, like I like blueberry flavor, probably the best, but Wild Berry is like the Pop Tart.
Yeah.
Now, for the longest time, my parents only ever bought the brown sugar Pop Tarts. So like, part of me is always thinking like to like gravitate to brown sugar Pop Tarts, but like that's like the most milk toast Pop Tart.
Well, that and strawberry, I just don't, parents are real bad about picking. Like, it wasn't until, like, I finally convinced my parents, like, look, s'mores.
Mm-hmm.
Don't buy anything else. You buy s'mores, and you just leave me alone.
Leave me alone. And see, nowadays, it's kind of like, unless we don't buy Pop Tarts, but if I'm going to go buy Pop Tarts, if I'm not getting Wild Berry, I'm probably not going to get frosted either. I'm going to get the unfrosted one just because I don't need that extra bitness.
Wild Berry's good though.
Wild Berry, it's got that like retro, like 90s look that was on like the styrofoam cups or whatever.
Yep.
It's got that look about them. So
Pop Tarts are kind of like it's like every once in a while I'm like, that sounds good, but super seldom.
My parents have them at their house, and every once in a while I'll just be like, I'll go grab me one. I'll be like, can I have this? They're like, yeah. All right, cool.
But so I don't even ask my parents. I'm just like, manifest destiny. You shouldn't have brought me into this world.
Like, I'll drop Tony off, and he'll be in the living room playing, and I'll just kind of sneak off to the kitchen and like open up their pantry and like, oh, these are all the things that Ann won't buy for us. I'll eat them here. And then I'll get one for Tony and give it to him, and I'll get home and be like, man, Nana and Granddaddy gave him a dadgum Pop-Tart. I mean, I tried to stop them. But they gave him a brownie, too. He hadn't had dinner yet. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. They gave him a whole bowl of goldfish.
She's anti-goldfish?
Do what?
She's anti-goldfish?
No, she's not anti-goldfish, but most of the time I go pick him up and then I stop by my parents. And so he doesn't eat dinner yet. So he loads up on goldfish, brownie sweets, Pop-Tart sweets, and maybe a couple jelly beans. And it's like, then he gets home and he won't eat anything she's cooked. And I'm like, blame the grandparents.
Blame the grandparents, yeah, dude. Just be like, this is their fault, not mine. I'm innocent.
Yeah, I mean, but sometimes I'll be like hard nosed. I'm like, no, don't give him that. And Mom will be like, don't you remember when you come home from school and you just be starving? I'm like, he's not starving. He's fine.
He'd be starving.
He's fine.
You know? I hadn't starving.
I'm like,
He's
geez,
like,
man, look.
hasn't had a potato all day. Here you go, son.
I'm like, look at that little belly on that little boy. He's fine. He's fine. But
But an Irish Flake, definitely something you should check out.
yeah, I would 100% recommend Irish Flake. Especially, I mean, Irish Flake seems to be a lot more readily available than, well, definitely
That's
more than Dark Strong.
the thing about Scandinavian Tobacco Group. It's like their stuff is pretty much readily available.
And I want to bring this up before we close out. I want to say, like, so there's original Peterson blends, the ones that aren't old Dunhills, right?
Yeah.
I think this is only the second one I've had. I had Old Dublin. That was like one of the first blends I ever had was Old Dublin, which is a quality English, very very good. But I haven't had Sherlock Holmes, University Flake. Yeah. There's one that starts with a C. I always think it says like conscientious, but I don't know if that's what it is.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
And
funny enough, I think I smoked all of the Petersons, but
yeah.
like basically when I started pipe smoking, and I never came back to them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they're bad. It's just like, I mean, when I started pipe smoking, I mean, I had an entire McClellan library to go through.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you know, that's what I was smoking majority of the time. Matter of fact, most of the humidors or pipe shops around, they only carried McClellan.
Really?
It wasn't until later, like Cornell and Deal wasn't even a thing, really. You know, like I mean, I didn't think of it as anything. Like I was like, oh yeah, that like rip-off company, because they had their own like Brer Rabbit or Brer Fox and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that was just them trying to like grab a little bit of that Frog Morton.
Mm.
You know, so I smoked Frog Morton. I smoked all those blends, you know, and it's just funny. You know, I think back on it and I think about how little I paid attention to Cornell and Dill.
Yeah.
Even people who were like, you know, I mean, Pease is on the market. I remember trying to get Pease into the place where I bought most of my tobacco, and they're like, it's okay. And I was like, okay, I mean, I like it, you know, and I still like Pease, you know, but people were just hardcore McClellan.
I've never had any Frog Morton, I don't think. I wish I could.
It's not like, I mean, it's definitely, it's kind of like, it's definitely more revered now that it's gone than it ever should have been. To me, it reminds me of Northwoods by Boswell.
Which that was one of the first blends I've ever had. You bought some and let me have some.
So I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you could buy bad McClellan tobacco, but it's just it was what it was.
Yeah. My memory of Northwoods was like it was kind of like a rough around the edges English.
Yeah, it was. It had a little sweet to it. I mean, it's good. I mean, you smoke Northwood pretty much all day. So
yeah, maybe next year, you know, because by the end of the year we'll be through all the Peterson that are old Dunhills. Maybe we'll jump into Petersons or something. I don't know. Maybe I don't.
Maybe or maybe we haven't done like the first series we completed was that Melville. Yeah, and I would kind of like to do something a little bit more boutique. So I was thinking like a Boswell or Peretti, because we've only ever smoked the one Peretti. Really, we only ever smoked Thanksgiving Day. Every year, Thanksgiving Day just comes around.
How many blends does Peretti have?
Quite a few.
Really? Okay. I remember you got this big old rope one time from them.
I'm sure I did. Who knows?
I remember you. No, it wasn't a rope.
No, you're talking about curly block.
No, I just remember one time you ordered it, had it sent to the company we work. I went to the mailbox, picked it up, and then Ann opened it, and it was a bunch of LJ Peretti, like a whole bunch of LJ Peretti.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a rope, but it was. There was like a twist in there. There was one that was kind of ropey-ish.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would get. I mean, I like rope tobacco. It's a pain in the tuchus though. Like really, it rope is one day we'll do a rope review, like uh, Irish rope or something like that, from Galwith. But dad gum, dude, it's such a pain in the butt to like. You really have to care about what you're smoking.
Is it more of a? It's more of a pain than a plug.
It's more of a pain than a plug. For whatever reason, rope is just like, what's up? I want to be moist forever. I mean, it's just like it won't dry. You have to cut it up. Yeah, you got to cut it up into coins, let them dry. Then you have to break it apart into something else, and then it's still wet. And then you let it dry for 30 more days, and then you can smoke it. And then it's just like that's an exaggeration. It really is a process, though.
Yeah.
I've always struggled with rope tobacco. I'm like, man, if there was a way to make you work right, like that'd be great. It tastes good. It's not bad. I'm not like, trust me, it tastes great, but it's just difficult.
A side note, real quick. We got to be on top of our game if we're going to plan on reviewing Sleepy Hollow. We got to make sure we get it.
Okay.
We got to make sure we order it. I don't know when they release it. It's getting
September.
close. Yeah, but it's getting close.
Yeah, I don't know. We just need to order it. You just got to call them up, I think.
Okay.
Well, we can do that.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, that's Irish Flake. We're getting close to the end here of early boy summer. So some blends, due to time constraints, we may not get to this year. Some blends may get pushed. Or I know we had a couple hodgepodges that were going to be in early boy. They may get pushed, because we can do hodgepodge any time of the year. So some of those may get pushed. Actually, I don't think any. Only thing we got left to do are the two HHs, and we're going to do those next. So, we're good on that.
Crazy, like it's all coming to an end. I mean, we had this whole big summer planned out, and that's basically over.
Yeah, it's over. But we still got, like I said, we still got half and half to do. Still have Prince Albert.
All our October stuff has to come out,
Do what?
October and the Christmas season's coming, so Thanksgiving, we have some Halloween stuff planned, Christmas.
Yeah. So,
crazy.
Yeah, but that's it. That's Irish Flake. We recommend. I think it would be a rotational. It could be a rotational.
Oh, definitely.
Just depends on where you're at with Dark Fired, on your journey of Dark Fired, kind of, in my opinion. So we'll see how it stacks up, after we smoke the two HH brothers. So, but that's it. So we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep. We'll see you.